We're live.
Yeah. And welcome everyone to Spirit Talk Australia. And your hosts or hostesses for this evening are Miss Anne and myself, Renata Daniel. And we have a very special guest with us this afternoon or evening, depending on where in Australia you might be. And that is the amazing Adam Barralet. How are you, Adam?
I'm very well. Thank you very much for having me on the show. I'm rapt to be here.
We are glad you are here as well. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a show to do. So there you are.
Because nobody else wants to talk to us. No, that's not true.
So just going to wait a minute or two for other people to pop on and say hello.
And while we're waiting, we're not going to read tarot cards.
No.
For anyone that's coming on now who was used to our free tarot show on Thursday nights, people. Tonight is Friday, and we are doing Spirit Talk Australia tonight.
I know. It's very exciting. Spirit Talk Australia is a very, very new podcast that has really just been birthed over the last few months. And we are busy getting loads of people to say yes to an interview with us so that we can share all of their wonderful knowledge with you on this amazing platform. So easy. All you need to do is sit back, enjoy a wine, and listen along. Hi, Jody.
And
hi.
Hi, the Gov. Thank you for joining us on YouTube.
Oh, hi, the Gov.
Oh, there he is. Oh, they are.
Excellent.
Can't assume a male.
So I'm just going to do a quick introduction on Adam. If you don't know anything about Adam, well, then you should, but you certainly will know a lot more by the time we have finished. So I'm just going to read a few things for you. It says, the true rock star of the crystal community. Adam Barralet has been observing and living in tune with nature since childhood. He has now established himself as one of Australia's premier spiritual teachers, adept at working with crystals along with essential oils and animal guides, tarot and astrology. Fascinating. I want to hear more about this. And Adam will help you discover the secret messages that the universe eagerly wants you to hear. So Adam is a success mentor and he runs workshops with regard to that. He is a meditation facilitator. He also works and sells doTERRA oils. He is a wellness leader, a crystal and tarot reader, and an astrologer. Wow. That is a whole lot of stuff,
I'm
Adam.
just jealous because he can buy crystals and call them a tax deduction. I am so jealous.
I'm sure we can figure.
It's all about the tax deduction, isn't it?
I'm sure we can figure something out. I'm sure. Hello, Cherry. Hello, Jody. Hello, Bobby. We've got a great amount of people coming on now, which is really great to see. So welcome everyone. Now, Adam, on your web page, and we are popping up all of the connections on the banner that is running underneath that will share your web page and Facebook page and all of that with everyone that's watching. But on your web page, there is a page dedicated to your journey up to this point in time and telling us how you got to where you are. But I'd love to hear it in your own words, please.
Yeah, sure. So for me, it began probably in late teenagehood. I grew up in the hills of Western Australia, so surrounded by bushland, kangaroos, kookaburras, all that kind of thing around. And when many other teenagers would maybe lock themselves in their room and play loud music, I'd be sitting way out in the middle of the bush, looking up at the stars, watching the animals move around, and that's where I found my solace and my comfort. And I guess as I started to get into my older teenage years, you start to kind of wonder about what else is there in the world and that type of thing. So I ended up one day walking into a crystal shop and I bought myself a little amethyst. And I took that crystal home with a bit of paper that told you what all the different crystals did. And I, the next week I was back in that crystal shop and bought another one and another one and another one. From there, getting into crystals, I also got into essential oils. I was reading books on the messages that animals can give us as well. One of my very early teachers and mentors, who I believe we had on the show last week, Tamara von Forslund, gave me a great introduction into, the magical side and the pagan lifestyle and the Wiccan lifestyle and the magic that we do get from nature. So for many years, I was just kind of doing my own thing. But like many young people living in a small city, when you're young, it's boring. So I decided to upgrade when I lived in Melbourne. And then that wasn't big enough for me. So I went to Toronto in Canada, then went to New York City. And about 6 years ago, realised there's no place like home and came back to Perth. Then that was when I actually kind of did a full circle from walking into a crystal shop. I was in working in one. And that's where I started to meet more and more people who were interested in crystals and oils and all that type of thing. And I found so many people loved all these different things. They'd buy all these different things, but they didn't know what to do with them. And that kind of, that kind of not bothered me, but I was kind of like, well, these are gifts from Mother Nature. And if we're not learning how to use them and just having them sitting around our house, it's almost like we're gifting everyone a Ferrari and them leaving it sitting in their garage. So opportunities came up and I rearranged the universe a little bit, which allowed me to release some meditation CDs, my books, my diaries, and so on, and oracle cards. And so now I'm very blessed to both online all around the world and travel to many countries when we don't have travel restrictions, teaching people how to work with the different gifts of nature.
Wow. Just letting you know that we have Joe from Arizona watching, from Tucson.
I love to get to Arizona once a year. They have a massive, big crystal fair in Tucson there in Arizona, which I love to get to each January. Hello, thank you for tuning in.
Wow. That sounds fantastic.
So, Nick, you say that you work with animals.
Yeah.
So how do you do that?
Not so much with the actual physical animals and that type of thing, although I have worked at a couple of wildlife sanctuaries and I was a volunteer educator at Toronto Zoo. So I love the physical animals. But I think, humans believe that we're the superior species. We've got houses and cars and the internet and all that kind of thing. But if I grabbed a bunch of humans and put them in the middle of the bush for a couple of weeks, I don't know if they'd do so well. So
isn't there a TV show on that?
There is.
I think there's a TV show based on that. So I guess when we're looking for guidance, when we're looking for messages, looking at how animals handle different situations and when they come into our lives, I think they act as great teachers. So I often, whether I need to feel protected and work with bear energy, or whether I need to, set some short-term goals and work like a rabbit or something like that. I like to bring in different animals' energy and also notice what animals are appearing around me, either, physically or, I hear it on TV or I see it on the back of a truck or something like that. And often, just like angels give us messages, animals can give us messages as well.
Yeah, we hear a lot about people who will contact us and say, I see, and I think we had this on Thursday or during the week anyway, a lady seeing butterflies, yellow butterflies, and she was asking us about what does that mean?
Yeah, well, butterflies are an interesting one because they're an animal transformation, very much like a frog. But whereas a frog will just, from a tadpole grow some legs and hop out of the water, the one thing about a butterfly is it starts as that caterpillar and then goes into the cocoon. So it goes into the darkness. And then it must fight its way out of the darkness before it gets that freedom of being a butterfly. So when butterflies are around, it's normally, I find, freedom is available, paradise is available, but you've got to deal with the rubbish. You've got to deal with whatever you've been avoiding. You can't just sweep it under the rug. So butterfly, everyone's like, oh, it's light and fluffy, but it's done its work to have that freedom and that type of thing. So, butterflies are very relevant to what's happening around the world at the moment. It's a great time of transformation. And a lot of people are stuck in their homes by themselves with nothing to distract them. And so they're almost in their cocoon right now. So, butterflies would possibly be popping up for a lot of people.
Yes, but are they working on the transformation that they need to make to come out of that cocoon?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Apparently, if you help a butterfly out of its cocoon, it doesn't survive.
Ah, it's got to develop its own strength to break out.
Wow.
Exactly. It's got to do it itself. No one can do it for it.
So
Yeah.
we've got a question from Michelle. Now, Michelle, tonight is Spirit Talk Australia, and we are interviewing people who are involved in spiritual work throughout Australia and the world. And tonight we have Adam on. So you missed the introduction where he works with crystals and essential oils, and we're just talking about how animals portray certain energy and how you can work with that energy and the essence of that.
So
Yeah.
a lot of people I'm going to get back to the crystals in a minute, but because we're on this subject of spirit animals and guides as spirit animals, how does one find their spirit animal guide?
Well, I think with any kind of guide, whether it be an animal or an angel or any of those types of things, some I find from my personal experience, there are some great facilitators that will help you find that one animal that's always there and that type of thing. I found in my experience, although there tend to be some animals that hang around me a bit, some others will come in at certain times as well. So some people have, there's great shamanic journalists will take you on a journey, and you finally realize that your totem animal is a mouse, and people are disappointed by that and that type of thing. But I think anytime an animal keeps on appearing to you, and this is something, I was talking about your guest last week, Tamara. I used to ask her in meditation, when something happens, I've always had a creative imagination. How do I know it's just not me making it up? How do I know that's a message? Whether it comes in meditation or an intuitive dream or all those types of things. And what she explained is, in a meditation or in the animal kingdom or whatever we're looking at, there are millions of different possibilities. But whether it be your unconscious, your subconscious, a higher being or whatever, communicating with you, there's a reason why that animal came to you. So what I would suggest, if people are wondering what their totem animal is or what guides around them at the moment, close your eyes, visualize yourself maybe in a place in nature, and just invite an animal to come forward and see what comes forward. And that would be what I'd work with for the time. And if you find that animal keeps on rocking up day after day, week after week, year after year, that could be your totem. That's there for most of your life. Others may rock up for periods of time. I've had a spider hanging around me when I've needed some extra protection and to watch my energy around when I was working in a job that was, the bosses weren't the best, let's say, kind of thing. So, I trust. There's some great facilitators that help you find your guides and that kind of thing. There's, you could consult oracle cards or tarot cards and that kind of thing as well. But I encourage people to, do it yourself, meditate, see what comes. A lot of the time, people already know, type of thing. So that would be my recommendation on how to find your guides.
We've got some people there. Matt's saying that he has a crow. Jodie's saying ravens. Melissa's saying crickets. She's seen crickets everywhere. Sherry has magpies and birds, and I know mine is a fox.
Very nice. I will touch on the crows and the ravens. I find they tend to hang around. They are they're almost like black crystals. They absorb unwanted or low vibration energy. So they're kind of like the removers of negative energy. So sometimes if they're around, it's a bit of a detoxifying time for you, or there's something that needs to be taken and needs to be taken to the other side. There's several animals, the fox as well, are seen as being transient between this realm and the other, and messengers from this world to the other worlds. And crows and ravens and foxes are that. So it could also be that spirit somehow is trying to communicate something with you with those ones. So fox, I love. Fox is very much about adaptability. Foxes live in every ecosystem in the world almost and thrive somehow. So I love.
I've even got mine. Oh, okay. Which way do I go? I've got it. My dog actually looks like a giant fox. So I've got a tattoo on my arm. That was my very first tattoo at the age of 52 or something. God. All right, we've got these. If anyone's got any questions, please feel free to pop them up there.
Melissa says, I currently have a tank of marsh frogs, tadpoles for my kids to watch their transformation, but I'm so fascinated with them so much more than my kids. Also watching the nightly bats fly whilst I was in hospital for 5 weeks was cathartic. Yes, I was outside and I actually took a little video of all the bats flying past our home last night. and it's so quiet. You see these hundreds and hundreds of bats, and there's absolutely no noise. It's a bit crazy. Yeah. Just wanted to ask you, Adam, do you find, because when I was working or helping out in a local shop not far from where we are here, I found that a lot of young boys would come in and be absolutely fascinated with crystals. They seemed to be the ones that would head straight for the crystal cabinet and grab those rocks. But they would not leave the store or the shop until they got one. So mums would be wandering around, getting bits and pieces, but the young boys would be directed straight over to the crystals. Have you found that as well?
As I said, I was working in a crystal shop for a couple of years. I found that I didn't find just boys. I found boys and girls. I didn't notice it to be more boys than girls, but definitely kids. Yeah, around that kind of 4, 5, 6, 7-year-olds, and just kind of their hands are in the tumbled stone jars, and they're just like lodged in there like they're candy and that kind of thing as well. And I think kids up to the age of 7, that they haven't started, that logic mind hasn't kicked in on what's sensible and what's not sensible. And I think that they still have that powerful connection that many of us probably lose in our teenage years. And I love watching the kids because when parents are trying to decide for their young children what crystal's best, I'm like, we can try and nut it out and logically work it out, but just let your kid dive into the crystals and go with what they want. And I sometimes see parents trying to, oh no, we don't want that one. We want this one, don't we? Do you want this one? He's like, no, I want that one. Like if they're still young, go with what they want, and read some books or find out why they're going for that one, and give you a really good indication of where they're at and what they're dealing with.
Yeah, I guess that connection with them looking like little bits of candy is appropriate. But yes, so always had issues with kids with their hands in the tumbled stones, always. So that's
can't
that's
do that now with the coronavirus.
No, you can't. You'd be cleaning each one.
Oh.
Now, tell us about your journey with doTERRA and the essential oils and how you best use them. And Anne had a really good question that she was talking about earlier on before we started, which was, when did you discover that all of this stuff actually works?
When was your aha moment? When you went,
when was my aha moment? First of all, with the crystals, I think, what I found when I was buying all the crystals and I was buying all the crystal books and all that kind of thing, and they'd say that a rose quartz is good for love or a citrine is good for happiness, but there wasn't much guidance on what to do with them. So I'm like, right, I'm going to find out what to do with them. So I'd look at different things. So I looked a lot at, I bought a lot of books on Wicca that had rituals and practices. I'd look at things like astrology. I'd look at aromatherapy, creative visualization, feng shui, all these different things to work out, how do I get this this love or this protection or this abundance or all these different things that these crystals were meant to be for? And I'd play around and I'd experiment, and just after a while, things would happen that I was asking crystals to help me with. And it kept on happening time and time again. So for me, there probably wasn't one amazing, like, that fit moment, but it was cumulative over time, like, God, it's happened again and again and again, and that type of thing. So that's where I was kind of really, especially with the crystals, I really kind of dived in there and went, I actually still don't know. I had a great conversation. He was very open-minded husband of a wife who loved the oils, she loved crystals, and it's like, my wife loves it, and I want to kind of understand why she loves it, but I just don't get it. How can a colored rock do it? You're the expert, tell me how they work. And I said, to be honest with you, I can't tell you how they work. I don't know. But what I do know is when I put up a YouTube video, say on amethyst, and I said that when I put amethyst in my room, I sleep better than when I have it out of my room, and I get 50 comments underneath going, me too, me too, me too, me too, that tells me that they work. So there's lots of things that science hasn't proved yet, and we're bit by bit we're discovering how the world works more and more. They used to want to think that the Earth was flat, So
some still
me,
do.
I know.
Obviously, they don't own
Next
cats.
week. Yeah.
They don't own cats because if they owned cats, there'd be nothing else left on the surface of the earth. It would all be over the sides.
Yeah. Oh, so true. So true.
How is it the best? How do you find is the best way to use crystals? What would you recommend, especially for someone starting off? What's the best way to use crystals?
Definitely. Well, the first thing that I definitely teach with crystals is it is really tempting when you get started to want to get try and get them all and become a bit like we had someone mention a magpie before. I want that and that and that. And we get people that kind of have got 8 in their pockets and 9 in their bra and 10 around their neck and 5 rings on their fingers.
I'm just laughing because I know someone who does that.
And there's no problem with that, Adam. Just want to say.
We've come to the conclusion that the bigger the crystal around your neck, and I noticed you're wearing one, the more spiritual you are.
Well, obviously, yes. But what I do find from people is, that they end up like, it's almost as though they're speed dating their crystals. They're like, I don't even know what this one's name is and what it's good at and what it does and all that type of thing. So basically what people become is they become crystal sluts. So...
Oh, I love that term.
I am a crystal slut.
Guilty as charged. There we go.
Right.
So
we're using that. Hashtag crystal slut.
Crystal sluts, exactly. So what I encourage is start with a bit of crystal monogamy. So pick one crystal.
Oh, no, that's impossible. We can't do that.
I'm doing some of my online courses. Some of them, I make them do a crystal detox for a week where they can't have any crystals for a whole week.
Oh.
I get death threats in that week.
Yeah.
But what I said, start with one and hold it. First of all, it's a great idea to cleanse the crystal.
Mm-hmm.
But after you've cleansed it, put it out in nature somehow. Hold it in your projective hand. So that's the hand we write with. Mm-hmm. And what I suggest is just close your eyes and visualize what you'd like to bring into your life. So obviously, if you've got a love crystal, visualize love. If you've chosen a crystal for abundance, what you want that to do. And send that energy into that crystal for as long as you can. Mm-hmm. Now, it's better to do it just for 3 minutes, thinking purely about that, rather than thinking, trying to do it for half an hour. We think about your intention, then what's for dinner, then your intention, and then calling your mother back and all that type of thing. So, and then crystals, what they do, what makes them special is they hold energy better than wood or paper or glass or plastic or different things. So then you want to keep that crystal near you. And now they're not Disney magic where you program a love crystal to bring you a partner and then your perfect partner knocks on the door that night. But what I've found is they'll bring up opportunities. As you start to change, different things will come up. And it's about your responsibility then to seize that opportunity. So your crystal kind of works like your wingman and sets it up for you, but you've got to grab it. So that's what I'd suggest. But also connecting with them, sitting quietly outside with them. Some of my most profound moments with crystals was laying on the couch with some nice music on and just holding a crystal. Let them talk to you that way as well.
Now, before we move on, you have an amazing deck of cards.
We've got a question there.
Okay.
How do I use crystals for cleansing space and also bringing positive energy into the house?
Okay, we'll do that. Yep.
Okay, cool. So, the crystal I like the best is, I'll give you a couple of different crystals. My favorite one for cleansing the space is a crystal called selenite. So it's Selenite. It's a beautiful white crystal named after Selene, who's a lunar goddess. So that is a really nice one to bring into the home, and it's like you can get like wands of it in different shapes. And I call it my spiritual lint roller. So I'll actually rub it across my arms and over my. I've got some at my front door, and I kind of wipe off all the bad doo-doo from the day. But I also have it positioned. There we go. Here's some we prepared earlier.
Bought from Glastonbury.
Rub that across your arm and kind of over your aura, just kind of like brushing off the day and brushing off off the energy. Popping that around your house can be a really nice way, just like you have water filters or air filters. Selenite works as an energy filter. So that's one I love to have around my house, just to cleanse and that. Another one I like for protection is I love black tourmaline. And what I recommend,
So do I.
Get some little bits. And what I have is I have it around my front door. And you know, when you get home, or better still, maybe you hear someone else come home, and you're like, oh, I'm about to pay for the bad day they just had, and they're about to bring their bad day into the house. So what I do is I have that black tourmaline there, and when I get home at the end of the day, I stop just for a few minutes, just long enough to freak out the neighbour who lives across the road, who's been leaving little messages on my windscreen about Jesus dying for my sins and that she's praying for me. I needed to keep outsourcing that kind of thing, so I needed to
You're speaking our language here,
yeah. So just to freak her out a little bit, and then I just walk through and I just imagine anything I don't want to bring into the house just gets taken away by that black tourmaline. So, and then I've got the selenite in the house that's also doing that extra kind of filtering as well. So those are two really basic crystals that are a really nice way to set up your home, so that you've kind of got that nice energy all of the time.
Yeah, I love the black tourmaline. I used to take it ghost hunting with me. People used to say it would repel negative energy. So I used to take it everywhere with me, but now I leave it at home because I want to have an experience with anything that wants to come talk, but I clean myself off before I leave.
Perfect. Yes. Love it.
Now, have you got that beautiful deck of cards there somewhere that you could show us, please? Your crystal cards, the ones that you photographed.
Yes. Yeah.
These are amazing, guys. If you're after a really fantastic deck of cards, these are absolutely gorgeous. I can thoroughly recommend them. They're beautiful.
So would they get those on your website?
They do, yep. So just barralet.com is my
I've
website.
got that scrolling across the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. And yeah, just to kind of give you a bit of a little demo. I found, there's lots of crystal cards out there. What makes mine any different, that kind of thing. A lot of them I find it's like a crystal on a black background or a fancy background or something like that. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to take them back into nature.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
All these beautiful. Let me kind of grab a couple of some beautiful lapis lazuli.
The colours.
So yeah, I took my crystals out into nature and made the photos, and then on the back of each one there's just a little quick message as well. So if you've got that crystal, you can say what crystal shall I be monogamous with today? Crystal sluts. And if you don't have that crystal, then there's a message on the back that you could just treat like an angel card or any other kind of oracle card as well.
No, I was really taken aback by seeing them because they were just so beautifully presented.
There was one, I think, with on the beach and the sand with the water coming up.
Yes, that's the first one Adam showed. That was beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Yes. It was fun actually shooting that one. It looks beautiful, but there I was down at a local beach with this crystal that's quite a valuable crystal, Larimer. So I actually took all the photos with my iPhone. But I'd have the crystal there, have the iPhone ready. The wave comes. I quickly try and get the picture, quickly try and grab this $300 crystal, and then try not to get too wet. Everyone else on the beach thought that, I don't know what they thought I was doing, but hey, we got a good shot in the end. So
you did.
Now, I've got a question there for you. Is it true that selenite doesn't hold onto energy? So it clears the energy, but doesn't hold onto it?
Spot on, definitely, yeah. So pretty much all crystals need to be cleansed, especially after you've been using them a lot or you're about to kind of use them for something important. But selenite, because it is that kind of cleansing, I found it's one of the few crystals that doesn't need to be cleansed. You can take it out in the moonlight, or especially around the full moon, because it has that lunar connection with being named after Selene, the lunar goddess. But no, I found it's pretty good without being cleansed. You can kind of
don't get them wet.
What was that, sorry?
Don't get them wet. The selenite.
Selenite is not like getting wet at all. You'll lose that beautiful sheen very quickly.
I've got a slab of selenite on my altar. It's
crystal slut.
That big. It's just a slab, and it's just beautiful, and no one is getting it ever.
Have you ever actually dug for crystals? Find your own?
A little bit, but it's on my list of things to do. Do you know?
There's this show from America where they go up into the hills, into the mountains, and they pick out these crystals, and you just sit there going, oh my God, it's just amazing. It's amazing.
Oh, it's still after 25 years of working with crystals, I'm still amazed that these beautiful coloured things are all underneath us in the earth, and the earth grows them. I think it's absolutely magical.
Absolutely.
So Jodie said, does the form of the crystal make any difference for uses? Not users, but uses. E.g. eggs, wands, polished raw clusters, etc.
Yeah, it's a common question I get asked, is tumbled or polished or that kind of thing better, or if it's raw, is that better and that type of thing? What gives a crystal its power is basically it's on a microscopic level. So crystals grow in perfect shapes, in squares and hexagons and so on. That's on their molecular level kind of thing. So sometimes people go, oh, well, I don't want a crystal that's broken. But pretty much every crystal that you'll find in a shop is broken because crystals grow in big masses. And then we chop it up and either sell them raw or sell them tumbled or sell them shaped and that kind of thing as well. So obviously the shapes will have a bit of an impact. Like eggs they symbolize fertility and new birth and that type of thing. So if you're making a grid or meditating, then that might be a good one. Pyramids and points can direct energy a bit better and that kind of thing. But what I've found is it's personal preference kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So, not that unfortunately I haven't resorted to wearing a bra yet, but women have told me that it's probably easier putting a tumbled stone in the bra.
There are other places ladies put crystals as well, but we're not going to talk about that on this show.
That's the yoni eggs, isn't it?
We just won't talk about that.
No, that's not my specialty.
You can always get a jock strap. There you go. You can fill that.
You could do. But hey, I'm practicing my crystal monogamy.
Somebody there, Sherry said, do you let the crystals pick you?
I think it's always important to, I guess, the two ways of choosing what crystals are right for you. You can either read some books, get an idea and go looking for that crystal, or you can walk into a crystal shop and see what you're drawn to and go with that as well, kind of thing. I guess that's a similar question to should you wait for your partner to choose you, or do you choose your partner?
Exactly.
You're both drawn to each other and it becomes a perfect relationship. So
I've seen people in crystal shops putting their hands over and sort of seeing which one they get the energy from, and I think it's just an excuse for crystal sluts, really.
Sucking in a bit of extra energy for free, exactly, yeah.
Let's move to doTERRA oil.
Danielle's suggesting a cluster in your jocks. Yeah. There you go. And the fake crystals. Oh my God! Do not buy your crystals from Wish.
No,
people,
please do not. Yeah. Yeah, what you're getting what you pay for, and if you're paying a couple of dollars for something that looks this big but is actually in the hands of a small 3-year-old child, you aren't getting a real crystal.
Yeah, and I could probably go on for about half an hour about fake crystals, but I will give a little plug to, I've got a YouTube video. If you look up Adam Barralet and fake crystals, I go through how to spot fake crystals and some of the main ones that you'll find a lot of the time and why they're there and that type of thing.
Oh, excellent. So that's Adam Barralet and fake crystals.
Yeah,
excellent.
Do that on YouTube and you'll find a video there that kind of spend about 20 minutes going through how to spot fake ones as opposed to real ones.
Just a couple of more quick questions. Yep. Best crystals for kids?
Melissa, I'm not sure if you're listening at the start, but kids under 7, let them choose. Actually, kids at any age, let them choose.
Can't go wrong.
No.
One of the 101 spiritual laws is that we should never affect someone else's free will. And often I get messages being written to me of, Adam, what's a crystal I could put under my partner's pillow that would make them more this or less this? Or for my kids or that kind of thing. And my kind of thing is, well, what's wrong with them being like that? Is it them that has the problem, or is it you that has the problem? So I would, if your kids want crystals, then let them pick crystals. And if they don't, then maybe we need to look at a crystal for unconditional love or something like that to be a little bit, I know that sounds a bit harsh, but let the kids choose as well. My mum let me, probably why I got into spirituality as well is my mum, when she left my father, got into Enya and Medwin Goodall and some rose quartz and burning essential oils in a burner. And that's probably where it all started for me, because she just had that around and set up a good example, and that's where
Yeah.
I kind of got onto it from there.
Yeah.
And welcome to Lady Tamara, who's just joined us.
Yes, hello,
Tamara. Another quick question: emerald green crystals. What do they represent? It depends.
Green normally, a couple of things. It's very much to do with the heart chakra. So the heart chakra, when we think of the heart chakra, we often think, oh, it's just about love, that type of thing. But you'll often see the heart chakra is represented with two colors, that green and the pink. And so when I'm talking about the heart chakra, I often explain that when we have a balanced heart chakra, it's about having an even ability to give love as well as receive love. And green crystals are very much about our ability to receive love. So that's why they often are to do with abundance. And often the world brings us or pays us or generates for us or gives us what we believe we're worth. And so green crystals are really good for helping us to nurture ourselves, put ourselves first, take our rightful place in the world and that type of thing as well. So as a general thing, obviously each green crystal has its own kind of specialty in that, but very much about abundance and allowing us to be open for that abundance to come into our lives.
Just one last question, Adam, about crystals before we move on. Because we could spend an hour and a half talking about them. Easy. Do you find that all over the world there are similarities with what people say crystals kind of have, what particular energies or correspondences they have, or does it vary? So we can, for example, believe that rose quartz is all about love, but maybe in South America they think something differently about rose quartz. Or do you find that there's sort of a generalization?
No, this is the thing that when I was writing my book, Crystal Connections, all about crystals, I went in and I'm really interested in how ancient civilizations and older cultures and more native cultures work with these different crystals, because I felt that they obviously had a really strong connection with the land. And that's what I kept on finding. Obviously, some crystals only grow in one place in the world, but different ones such as turquoise or quartz or different things like that, even before the East and the West, for example, were trading with each other, they were using these stones for exactly the same thing. And so
that's pretty amazing.
That there is this kind of, there will be different kind of slight different interpretations of that, but from across the world there was always trends. I never really found they think that and they think that, and they were polar opposites and that type of thing as well. So it seems to have been, whether it's a human consciousness or it's just the energy of the crystal communicating with everyone the same thing, everyone seems to be on relatively the same page.
Wow, that's amazing. Let's get on to the oils and how you use the oils in the work that you do.
Yeah, so again, I about 25 years ago got interested in essential oils. My mum was using a burner. The house smelled nice, so I got a good old oil burner and that kind of thing. And then I was reminiscing the other day. I found a good old magazine subscription thing where
yes,
remember those old days where you like each week you get a little thing. And, and I subscribed to this one, and they'd send me a very cheap essential oil and a little bit of information, and I'd get right into it. And just throughout my life, oils have just kept coming up. So I trained as a massage therapist, and I would use oils in that. I'd use them in my spell work and my magical work with my crystals. I worked for another company as a sales rep for essential oils. And then 6.5 years ago, a friend of mine introduced me to doTERRA essential oils, which are my absolute favorite brand of essential oils. For me, I found the purity and the vibration of these oils, whereas others would whisper to me, these oils would almost yell at me in a nice way. So can
you be an essential oil slut as well as a
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Yeah. So, I've started with a little collection. Don't look at the white lids. Don't look at the white lids.
Yeah. I won't show you this. I won't show you my collection tonight.
No.
But what I love, and I think a lot of the if we look at kind of a lot of the pagan traditions, and in the past we used to use herbs and that kind of thing for physical healing, emotional, mental, and spiritual work as well. Essential oils, I guess, are the step up, because we're able to get a more pure essence of that plant. For example, 1 drop of peppermint oil from doTERRA, that's the one I was to keep me awake tonight and keep me on the ball, has the same effect on the body as 28 cups of peppermint tea. So in my teaching with essential oils, and I teach about the spiritual lessons of oils as well, the oils are messengers of the plants. And so if you go back and understand the plant, you understand the oil. So one oil I've been playing around with a lot that's just come out as a limited release from doTERRA is Blue Lotus essential oil. Ooh, and what I love about Blue Lotus is...
Write it down.
I just put an order in, damn it.
Blue Lotus, yeah. It's an amazing oil. We were thinking about the Blue Lotus flower. Now, I'm going to quiz you ladies now. If we were to pour 5 litres of vinegar on a lotus flower, what would it smell like?
Vinegar.
And if we'd pour 5 litres of Chanel No. 5 on it, what would it smell like, do you reckon?
Shit.
Chanel.
Well, actually, the answer to both is that it would
still
smell
lotus.
like a lotus flower.
Wow.
So a lotus flower is aquaphobic, so it repels other liquids. So what Blue Lotus essential oil allows us to do is when people throw vinegar at us in the way of criticism and insults and things like that, it just rolls off us like water off a duck's back.
Oh, we need a liter of that.
Exactly. Well, don't we all? And the other thing is, when people throw or shower you in perfume, in compliments or embellishments or different things like that, you don't take that on board either. Oh, things are falling apart.
I was going to get something smart and sassy out. Hang on.
There you go. So
it works both ways.
Yeah, and people often go, well, Adam, I need to listen to the compliments because that's how I feel good about myself. But what happens, a couple of things, if we just listen to that, first of all, we see what happens with maybe sports players or pop stars. If they believe too much of the good stuff, it goes to their ego and they kind of go off the rails. Yep. Plus, if we start chasing the perfume and avoiding the vinegar, we start living our lives trying to please everyone else. And so Blue Lotus helps us to not worry, because there's always going to be people that love you and hate you. Blue Lotus says, hey, what if we ignore that and we listen to our own guidance system? And it helps us to open up to our guides. We're talking about animal guides before, to the angels and whatever the spiritual beings we work with, and lift us above all that and above all that turmoil. And that's why, I'm really excited about Blue Lotus at the moment in particular.
Wow.
Well, that's on my shopping list
for
the next one.
It is. Is there a particular oil other than the Blue Lotus that you would recommend people be using with? Because we were sort of talking as well about the fact that people have a lot of time on their hands now and they're getting a bit frantic with that.
Because, to alleviate stresses.
Because it's kind of, because we're all sort of at home in most cases, and we often try and layer into our life as much as we possibly can so we don't actually have to think about our problems. We just sort of roll on from day to day without actually examining ourselves to any great length. And people are now at home with their spouses, with their kids, or at home with themselves.
I'm pumping out lavender paste.
And they're left with having to examine all of those things they have not wanted to for a very long time. What essential oil would be the greatest help for them now?
I think Heather's nailed it. Best oil for anxiety and mental clarity.
Thank you, Heather.
Cool. The first one that I'd recommend, I'll offer a couple. The first one is vetiver, spelled Vetiver. Vetiver comes from the root of a grass plant. So any oil that comes from the root helps us get back to the root and the core, and it's very grounding as well. So lavender, we know lavender helps us get to sleep. I call it vetiver. It's also a great sleep oil. It's more like a horse tranquilizer kind of thing. It really knocks you out on the physical level. Emotionally and mentally and spiritually, it helps us to find stillness. And it's amazing how many of us struggle with just being still. It's almost like our mind is a glass of muddy water. And we keep moving it around like this. And if we want that clarity, what we need to do is just have that glass still for a little while and allow it to settle down, and we'll get that clarity. Vetiver is amazing for helping us feel comfortable it also helps us get to the root of problems. So if things keep coming up for you, if something keeps triggering you or anything like that, vetiver is absolutely amazing for helping you find comfort in the stillness and the darkness and that type of thing. When you kind of feel comfortable in that stillness and you want a bit more clarity, that's where the mints like peppermint, spearmint can be absolutely amazing to really kind of open up the mind and bring that real clarity. Combine that with a clear crystal, either clear quartz or Herkimer diamond or something like that.
I've got
and
one of
really
those
good
too.
to kind of really
Put that down on your list.
finding that clarity in that type of way.
We'll just send you a shopping list shortly, Adam. Now, somebody said, what are the properties and plants in the whisper oil?
Okay. So Marky's asking about a blend that's made by doTERRA. It's a beautiful blend of, they call it their blend for women. And the reason they made it is because one of the really devastating things I learned when I started getting more into natural health is to learn how bad many perfumes and colognes are for us. So, and I used to, for my birthday and Christmas, I'd say, just get me a gift voucher and I'll go down to the department store and buy myself a new cologne. But although they have plant extracts in them, they'll have alcohols, man-made chemicals, and even parts of animals like whale vomit and horse urine. So,
hold on. Did you just say whale vomit?
Yeah. It's more beautifully known as ambergris, but it's a thing that whales will vomit up and it will wash up on the shore.
Right.
And they'll put that
who would have tried that and gone, that's a really good idea?
I'm just going to put that behind my ears.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Oh, geez, we're a strange lot, aren't we?
People who tried eating and doing lots of things the first time, and some have panned out well.
No.
How do we spell vetiver again? Some people are just asking.
Vetiver, V-E-T.
Yep.
I-V-E-R.
V-E-R.
And
there we go.
Danielle also asks whether you can actually buy lotus, Blue Lotus everywhere
in the world,
because she is from Ireland.
Through doTERRA, she could. You can buy it from other companies. The things you've got to be careful of is we're just talking about perfumes and essential oils. There is no regulation of perfumes or oils by anywhere around the world. So, for example, to label something in Australia as a pure essential oil, the law states you only need anywhere as little as 3% from that plant in there. And you can still call that a pure lavender oil or a pure blue lotus oil or that type of thing as well. So you really want to go back to that company and find out what testing is done and how do we know what I'm getting in here. And, lavender is the most popular essential oil in the world and is also the most adulterated, with 80% of lavenders not being what are actually labelled on the bottle. And that's why people get headaches from lavender, because it's not actual lavender. So,
right.
Yeah, you can probably buy blue lotus elsewhere. I found in my experience over 25 years is because doTERRA, they test their oils and have a third party test them, and you can actually look at those tests. That's why I go to doTERRA's oils and use their blue lotus oil and that kind of thing.
Wow.
And I didn't actually answer that question about Whisper. Whisper has lots of flowers and woods. It allows women to stand in their power, and also the action of flower is opening up. So flowers open up as well.
Write that down.
It's on the shopping list.
Jesus.
So flowers and wood oil.
I'm gonna have to go to the bank and get a loan.
I'm a dangerous person to speak to. We should have had a warning beforehand.
Oh God, what other subjects can we get onto? You're going to make us spend so much money.
So do you prefer a diffuser or just straight on the skin? Like I just did a few drops there straight on my skin and have what did I just do?
I would say as long as you get the oils on you or around you kind of thing, they're going to have an impact in one way. Normally when we smell an oil, that helps us more on an emotional level because it goes straight to our limbic system, to our brain, talks to our pituitary, and that makes hormones in our body change and changes within seconds. So really good if you're feeling stressed or emotional. Breathing in is really good. Putting them on our body, obviously, if we've got a stomach ache, rubbing oils that help with digestion on our belly would help. If we've got a sore muscle on our muscles, it's going to be better that way. Is making sure, of course, that we're diluting them and using them safely how the company recommends as well, so we don't end up burning ourselves as well.
So Deborah Ann, is saying Whisper Oils. It's one of the blends that doTERRA does. So it's like this one here. It's one of the blends. I don't know if I can get myself lined up, which is the Smart and Sassy. So they do different blends. So they've combined a few different things in the one bottle.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I think they've got some rose, jasmine, sandalwood, frankincense, cacao, vanilla, ylang ylang, and a couple of others. So, cacao. So it's a magical oil, and it smells different on every single person. It's stunning.
Yeah.
So what is a good oil to help you open up
spiritually?
Yeah, so like the third eye chakra and that kind of thing.
Yep.
My favourite ones for that type of thing. I like juniper berry. I like sandalwood and star anise. So probably my favourite three for, I guess, for intuition and guidance and that type of thing as well.
And you could also follow that up with a little glass of Sambuca.
Why not? You could.
Anyway.
That's one way to bring spirits into your space very quickly, isn't it?
And we've also got a suggestion there of patchouli. Delgadillo. Oh, I love that. Delgadillo. Anna. Yeah.
Patchouli, I love. Patchouli helps it drop right into the moment. It's very much about let go of the anxiety of the past, or the stress of the past, or the hurt, pain, and the suffering of the past. Don't worry about the anxiety and what's going to happen in the future. Drop in right now. And patchouli is an interesting one. If you have just a small amount of it, it will actually it will pick you up. But if you have a big smell of it, it'll actually kind of chill you out.
Ground you.
Kind of and magically, it's being used to actually get people to leave you alone. So if you want some time by yourself, patchouli is really good. But it's also being used as an aphrodisiac to attract people to you. So patchouli's got this real interesting yin yang kind of energy about it. So I love it in that type of way.
Wow. Now,
I'm not letting my husband near patchouli.
Yeah, I don't know whether you have any spare time after all of that amazing stuff that you teach with regard to your crystals and your essential oils, but you actually also do other things. So what else do you help people with, Adam?
So I'm very passionate about helping people get out of the matrix as well. It's really interesting how many people, I'm a tarot reader as well, and how many people I meet who are kind of just getting through their 9-to-5 job or that kind of thing, so that they can get to the week, so they can earn enough money to enjoy on the weekend, so that they're happy enough to go back into a job that they had on Monday to earn more money, so they can. And it just seems sad to me that's kind of, that so many people have different gifts that they would love to offer. And so I love to kind of help people find different ways to I guess, crossfade out. And that's what I did. I've worked for, big banks and big companies for much of my life. But I one day went, no, this doesn't truly make me happy, and I want to crossfade out of it. And that's what I did over the last 6 years, to the point now that, I'm totally self-sufficient on I generate my own income as I need it, kind of thing, which is a really nice way to be. So I offer different techniques to do that as well.
Wow, that's amazing. We're almost coming up to an hour.
I just looked at the time and I went,
we've gone,
hang on, we're supposed to go for 40 minutes. Oops.
So we really won't ask you anything else at this
except
stage.
Is hemp oil a good carrier oil?
Yes, is hemp oil a good carrier oil?
I haven't had much, to be honest. It's not one I've worked with a lot. I really like coconut oil because it has no fragrance. So I'm really into, like, I want to get the fragrance of the oils when I'm anointing them on my body for whether it just be for physical well-being or for something higher as well, and that kind of thing. So I've really stuck with coconut oil because it doesn't have a fragrance, whereas others have a bit of a smell. So hemp oil, I haven't had much experience with that, but if you're interested in hemp oil and its healing things, I'd be looking at another essential oil called Copaiba.
Yes.
Copaiba. Copaiba, for myself and lots of other people, have had amazing things for pain, for
And this
anxiety,
answers Melissa's
stress.
question as well.
Yeah.
So Melissa was just asking what's the best oil
There
for
we go.
pain,
So
and
check out
that
that
one.
ebook as well. Yeah.
Now, where can people find you? Tell us all of the places they can find you. Because you're going to be getting a bundle of emails very soon.
Exactly. The best place to find me, my website is just my name, adambarralet.com.
That's it on the bottom of the
YouTube.
screen there.
I have about 300 different videos on YouTube exploring different crystals and oils. And I've just started an animal series and have an angel series coming out in a couple of weeks as well. So I'll be doing angels as well. So YouTube. I'm on Facebook, which is Crystal Connections with Adam Barralet. Don't add the person Adam Barralet, because you don't need to know what I'm having for dinner and what I'm doing with my friends. Not much at the moment while we're all in hibernation. But look for Crystal Connections with Adam Barralet. I'm on Instagram as well, and I will have my own podcast coming out in a few weeks' time as well. So hunt me down on any of those social media things, and yeah, more than happy to help out when I can.
Well, Adam, I know two people that would be fantastic for your podcast. But look, thank you.
I'm looking for some experts in crystal monogamy and oil monogamy.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, sorry.
Yeah, you'll have to look somewhere else.
We're having lovely comments here. People are saying that you'll have to come on again and do it again because they've just learnt so much from you tonight.
Yeah, you will have new YouTube subscribers. There will be people sending you a bucket load of money for those gorgeous cards and for some more information from you, Adam. So it's just been absolutely fantastic to have you on. It's been absolutely wonderful. We are just so very blessed to have had you here with us and with everyone that has been joining us for the last hour. Certainly, we will be putting up this podcast on the Spirit Talk Australia page and all of our other pages. Once it is up, you guys share. So if any of you that have been watching, please share with your friends because we can all learn from this. So that's been great. Yeah. So thank you, Adam.
Yeah,
thank you so
much.
very much. We will leave you to now enjoy the rest of your afternoon and evening, and we will just sign off and say goodbye to everyone, and thank you all for joining us for this podcast. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Adam. Bye, everyone.
My pleasure. Yeah, blessed be.
Blessed be. Bye. Yeah, hang on. Press that. Oh, good. He's